All right, we're going to go undercover and peel back the curtain on the hidden economic forces that control the prices you pay for, well, pretty much everything. We're going to crack the code on pricing, and trust me, by the end of this, you're going to have a brand new economic superpower.
Okay, let's just dive right in with a mystery I know you've thought about. You're in line for your morning coffee, you glance at the price, and you think to yourself, man, somebody is making a killing on this. And you know what? You're absolutely right, but it's probably not who you think.
So let's actually look at the numbers. A latte that costs you, say, $2.55, the actual cost of the coffee, milk, cup, and even the barista's time is often under $1. That's a massive markup. We're talking around 150%. So, where is all that extra money going?
Now, the obvious guess is that it's all about the fancy, ethically sourced coffee beans, or maybe the super skilled barista. But the real answer, the single biggest factor behind that price, has nothing to do with what's in the cup. It's all about three little words: location, location, location.
I want you to picture that one coffee shop right at the exit of a crazy busy subway station. You know the one. Thousands of people, all in a rush, all desperate for caffeine, pour out of that station every single morning. That little piece of real estate is unbelievably valuable, and it's also incredibly scarce. So you've got a bunch of coffee chains all fighting tooth and nail for that one perfect spot. And that means the person who owns the property, they hold all the cards, they have all the power.
But what's really wild is that this whole situation, this entire coffee shop power dynamic, was explained perfectly more than 200 years ago. And it wasn't about coffee shops. It was a simple little story about farmers.
Okay, so this story comes from an economist named David Ricardo, way back in 1817. Picture this. The first farmer shows up, and amazing, fertile land is everywhere. He can get a great piece of land for almost nothing because the landlords are all competing for his business. He's got the power. But then more farmers arrive, and pretty soon all the best land is taken. It's become scarce. And just like that, bam, the power flips. Now the farmers have to compete with each other, and all the power shifts over to the landlords, and the rent they can charge is based on just how much better their land is than the next best option that's still available.
And that right there, that's the key idea. It's this concept of marginal land. It's simply the next best alternative. The value of the best option is always set in relation to how good the second best option is. That less desirable choice creates the baseline for the value of everything above it.
So we can boil this whole thing down into a really simple tool you can use for pretty much anything. Just remember the acronym FARM. First, find the fertile ground. That's your scarce, valuable thing. Then look at the alternatives. What are the other not-so-great options? From there, you'll see that the rent, which is just another word for profit, goes to whoever controls that fertile ground. And it's all priced relative to the marginal land, that next best choice.
So farmers and meadows from the 1800s, how in the world does that connect back to a city today and that expensive coffee you bought this morning? Let's connect the dots.
When you put them side by side, it's almost a perfect match. The fertile meadow from the story, that's the prime coffee shop location. The competing farmers, well, that's Starbucks, Dunkin', and every other coffee chain. And the powerful landlord, that's the property owner. It's the exact same story, just with different characters. The core force driving everything is scarcity.
And this right here, this brings us to one of the biggest myths in economics. We all think, oh, the coffee's so expensive because the rent is so high, but that's completely backwards. It's our willingness as customers to pay a lot for that convenient cup of coffee that makes the location so valuable in the first place. All that potential profit is what allows the landlord to swoop in and charge an insane amount of rent, basically capturing all that value before a single cup of coffee is even sold.
Okay, so we get it. Companies that control something scarce have a huge advantage. But how do they use that power to get as much money from us as possible? To understand that, we need to go snooping around the supermarket aisle.
Think about it. They can't just walk up and ask you, hey, what's the absolute most you're willing to pay for this? Of course not. So instead, they play these really clever games, using psychology to get you to signal exactly what your price point is, all without you even realizing it.
This quote
which is actually about the early French railways, just nails the whole strategy. See, the railway companies made the third-class seats super uncomfortable on purpose. It wasn't about saving money. It was about making sure that anyone who could possibly afford a second-class ticket would be frightened into upgrading. They made the cheap option just bad enough to push people towards the expensive one.
And this exact same logic is happening all around you, every single time you go to the supermarket. You ever really look at the packaging for the store's own value brand? It often looks, well, kind of cheap and boring, right? That is not an accident.
It's not because they ran out of money for a good designer. It is a completely calculated move. That boring, ugly packaging is designed to make sure that customers who aren't really worried about the price, the ones they want to frighten, will choose the more expensive, nicely packaged brand right next to it. They are getting you to sort yourself into a category. You're revealing your own price sensitivity.
And this can get pretty extreme. I mean, companies will literally spend extra money just to make their cheaper products worse. Get this. IBM once sold a high-end printer. For the cheaper model, they took the exact same printer and added a special microchip for the sole purpose of slowing it down. It actually cost them more to produce the worse product, but it was a critical part of their pricing game.
So what is the point of all this? Why should you care? Well, once you understand these basic ideas, scarcity and these pricing games, you get a whole new way of looking at the world. You start to see the hidden machinery working behind the scenes. It's like you've just been handed a pair of economic X-ray glasses. You can look right past the price tag on the shelf and see the real forces at work. The power struggles, the scarcity, and the clever psychological tricks that are actually running the show.
So here it is, your new toolkit. The next time you walk into a store, just run this little checklist in your head. First, where's the scarcity here? Is it real or is it manufactured? Second, who really has the bargaining power? And third, what game are they playing to get me to show them my cards? Because this isn't just some fun theoretical stuff. It's a real tool. It's a superpower that can actually change how you operate as a consumer. You can see the matrix now. So the only real question left is, what are you going to do about it?